Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, the night no one comes home.
Hello everyone, the lighting looks particularly bad, but let's keep going. So in this video I want to talk about Halloween 3. I have the 4K here, I just bumped the mic. I'm going to talk about the plot, so if you haven't seen it, please go watch this, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, and what I didn't like and what I liked about it. I like the movie, I enjoy the movie. So let me do my best to recount the plot. My memory is pretty bad, but let's go. So the movie opens up with an old man running away from something. He's being chased. And he's being chased by these men in suits. Like these rigid kind of, spoiler alert, robotic men that are chasing after him. And he tries to get away. Eventually he comes across a gas station and he collapses, and this black heroic man kind of scoops him up, brings him to a hospital. And here we meet the protagonist of the movie, Dan something, played by Tom Atkins. Dr. Dan is barely a doctor in this movie. I'm not really sure. He could have been anything. He could have been a carpenter. He could have been a mechanic. He could have been homeless.
You happen to know anything about this cock?
He doesn't really need to be a doctor in this movie, but for whatever reason, he's a doctor. So he sees this old man. The old man is grasping a Halloween mask, and he's like, they're all gonna kill us. They're all gonna kill us. Dr. Dan is all concerned, like, what's going on here? So the old man survives, but then one of the men in the suits comes in and kills the old man, breaks his skull or something like that. And then he leaves. The doctor chases after him.
Hey!
The man in the suit gets into the car, pours gasoline all over himself, and then lights himself on fire. The car explodes, so he dies, And then the doctor's like, what the fuck just happened? The hot daughter, played by Stacey Nelkin, she enters the frame, and she comes to identify her father. She's distraught. And then this... Dr. Dan is an alcoholic. He's just drinking all of the time. And he's also a Lothario. Let me check if I'm using that term correctly. A Lothario. I read the definition and I still don't know. I'm not sure. But he's like flirting with every woman in this movie. He gropes the nurse, but she doesn't seem to mind. So there's this older nurse, and he's like, I'm going to take a nap. Care to join me? And he grabs her ass. And it's not a big deal in the movie. They're like, everyone's like, whatever. So he's a drunk flirt. I guess he's a sex symbol. He's not a bad looking man, but he kind of just looks like a dad in this movie. He just looks like a dad. And then so he's drinking at a bar. The daughter comes to the bar for some reason. She's like, the nurses told me I could find you here at the bar drinking yourself to death. I'm not sure why she wanted to see him. I guess she wanted that dick. So anyway, fast forward, because I can't remember. But they end up going to investigate. This is a weird part of the movie because why would the doctor join this lady on this adventure to investigate? Like, why is he becoming Sherlock all of a sudden? Like Sherlock, MacGyver, Die Hard. He's crawling through vents at one point. What makes this doctor qualified to do any of this? Again, why is he a doctor? He could have been a cop, retired cop. It's a little weird. This exposition part is the weird part that I don't really love about the movie. The end part is cool. I like the end part. But getting to there, I think that it could have had a few more runs at the screenplay before you get to the end part. And I get her motivation. She wants to find out what happened to her dad. But why he would come along, he brings a 6-pack of beer into the car. There's some weird stuff about this movie. So they get to this kind of sleepy, creepy town. Let's just fast forward to the end because I'm blanking completely. This is the cool part. There's this creepy factory, and something weird is going on in this factory. And the horny doctor and the hot girl are trying to figure out what's going on and what happened. It turns out, like, there's this guy named Cochrane who's played by Dan O'Herlihy, I think. Great actor. I don't recognize him off the top of my head, but I love his voice. Really good voice and a really good actor and a really good performance in this.
The last great one took place 3,000 years ago when the hills ran red.
I love that in the opening paragraph on his Wikipedia, they mention Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, along with The Last Starfighter, which I've never seen, and RoboCop. Oh yeah, he was in Twin Peaks. He was the brother. So Cochrane, he owns this factory. He kind of runs this town. It turns out the big thing at the end of this movie is that they hauled a huge chunk from Stonehenge, brought it to this factory, and there's like mystical powers. As they like scrub this rock, there's deep, dark mystical powers that come from this Stonehenge chunk. They put it into this like microchip or something. They attach it to these masks, and they're selling these children's masks. The masks look really cool. The masks kind of make the movie. By the way, if you're looking for a movie with Halloween vibes, like the actual holiday Halloween vibes, this is it. This is the one. So they attach this like kind of circle token microchipped Stonehenge laced thing to these children's masks, and they're selling them, and they're really popular, and they're selling them like all across the United States. And so the big plan, they keep saying, there's this jingle, you know, if you've seen the movie, you know the jingle, and it's essentially London bridges falling down, but they go like, happy Halloween, happy. They play this jingle throughout, and they're advertising. They're trying to get parents to buy these masks for their kids and distribute these masks all across the country. And the big plan is that if you're wearing these masks and you look at the TV and this triggers something, they keep saying like there's a big giveaway at 9, so make sure you're at home watching TV at 9 o'clock on Halloween night. This like blinking light on the TV, it triggers something. There's actually this scene where they test it out on this family, this mother, father, and a child. And this is the second time I've watched the movie. I don't remember this scene at all. So when I saw it this second time, it freaked me out. But it triggers something where the child is right in front of the TV and he's wearing the mask and he collapses and all these sorts of creatures come out of the mask. It's really disturbing. And this is, 80s practical effects. Like these crickets come out, all these bugs come out, the snake comes out of his mouth. It's really disturbing, really well done, really cool. And then the parents are like so distraught and they collapse and die as well. So that was the test, and that's going to happen globally. So there's this monologue that Cochrane gives, and he basically explains pretty briefly, and he says, we are celebrating Samhain, where they're sacrificing children or people. They're globally sacrificing all these people in celebration of Samhain, and that's his grand plan. They don't really explain why.
Do I need a reason?
Maybe he hates children, maybe he just doesn't like children. They don't explain it, but if you don't think about it, if you try hard to not think about it, you kind of enjoy this movie more. That's what I found. He's like, kill a bunch of children. I'm like, all right, works for me. Dr. Dan wants to stop this, obviously. He wants to save all the children, save all the people. So the ending of this is pretty cool. They eventually capture the hot girl, Ellie. I think that's the first time I said her character's name. They capture her and they put her in a room. They tie up Dr. Dan. He eventually escapes. He eventually gets to the girl, unties her, and the ending is cool because he finds a box with all of these microchip tags. He presses buttons on the computer. For some reason, he knows exactly which buttons to push. They don't explain that. It's like, well, how the fuck? So he climbs up the stairs, climbs up to the top where he's above all of these robotic dudes. Oh, he triggers the TVs, the TV screens all around the factory. So it starts playing that thing. Da, 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 da.
I do love a good...
And the light starts flashing, and then he drops all these tags on these suited men. And they're all like, I'll do it again. And so they all die. I forgot to mention that he's flirting with this lady who works in a lab who's trying to figure out, what happened with that crash. And she's like, there's no human parts in here. There's no bones or anything. It's all just machinery. He's flirting with her too. Like I said, he's flirting with every woman in this movie, except for his ex-wife. So that's kind of how Dan saves the day at the end. Cochrane looks up and he's like, slow clap. And then the Stonehenge and everything, it destroys Cochrane as well. So Dr. Dan gets into a car with Ellie. They try to escape, and then Ellie tries to kill him. Turns out she's a robot. He kills her, and she has robotic parts. I assumed that when they captured her and tied her up that they turned her into a robot, but I don't know. He runs away, and he eventually comes across the same black hero from the beginning of the movie at the gas station, and he gets to the phone, and I don't know who he calls, but he's like, you have to cut this advertisement. Everyone's gonna die. I have no proof, but you have to do it. So the kids come with the mask and they go to the TV. They turn to one station and it says technical difficulties or whatever. They turn it to another station, technical difficulties. Then they turn it to the third station, and then he's like, there's still the third station. You have to shut it down. Stop it. Stop it. It's a really cool ending. I love that ending. It's intense, and he breaks the fourth wall. He looks into the camera. Stop it! And then credits.
You've got to believe! Stop it!
The ending is what makes this movie the movie. I also love the montage. It's getting dark, and they're showing all across the United States. And that montage, along with the ending, is the whole movie, where you have kids kind of walking jauntily. They're skipping in their Halloween costumes along with the mask. This gives Halloween vibes in spades, and I love that about this movie. I respect it a lot. I personally do not care that Michael Myers is in it. I really like the first Halloween movie. Second one I find kind of boring. I've seen Halloween Resurrection. It's not good. H2O is pretty good. I saw Halloween 2018. I liked okay. I didn't like Halloween Kills. I haven't seen Ends. So really, this is my second favorite Halloween movie. Second after the first one. If you haven't seen it, or if you haven't seen it in a while, check it out. I do enjoy the movie. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. I don't know why it is called Season of the Witch. I looked on Wikipedia. They say that the Stonehenge aspect is witchcraft.
Witchcraft.
I guess that's why. There's no witch in this movie, other than the witch mask. Unless you consider Cochrane a witch. I don't know. But it's a pretty fun movie. Well, I wasn't born in 82, but I didn't see this movie until way later, in the past 5 or 6 years maybe. And then I watched it again yesterday. So I think this is a really fun movie. I think you should check it out. It was a box office bomb. People hated it because they were expecting a continuation of Halloween 2. They wanted more Michael Myers. I don't have that issue at all. So it's the only Halloween movie without Michael Myers. It's considered a standalone cult film, I'm reading on Wikipedia. It's fun. Check it out. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. I was watching some of the bonus features. Tom Atkins is very funny in the bonus features. That's all I got. It's a fun movie. I recommend you check it out. Thanks for hanging out. Stay safe out there. I'm recording this on September 30th, but happy Halloween anyway. Or as Cochrane said, Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Thanks for hanging out, and say hi to your pets for me.